Warm-ups are blamed for everything. It's a great cop-out that coaches and players use as an excuse for poor conditioning or just poor coaching. And honestly, how is a 15-minute thing you do prior to activity or prior to your sport the cause or the root cause of all your problems or shortcomings as a player or a coach? Welcome back to the channel, guys. I haven't made one of these short form YouTube videos in so long, and I honestly miss it. I really enjoyed making these so much, and honestly, I'm glad to be back. Before I get into this video, if you want to support me and if you are an athlete watching this video, please consider clicking the link in the description. You can then get access to my full training team, which is basically a program which costs $10 per month, which is 5 sessions, 3 strength training sessions in the gym, and then 2 field sessions. Perfect design for athletes who want to get faster, stronger, more conditioned, agile, and essentially just build a bit of muscle at the same time. This is the perfect product because I made it super affordable. The design is to help as many athletes as possible. Athletes get a new program every single month, so you won't get super bored with all the basic programming that stays the same for a year, because every month you get a new one and it costs $10 per month to stay a part of this training team. Perfect price, perfect programming. All right, let's get into this video. As you heard in the beginning, warm-ups are typically blamed as the culprit for all mistakes or all shortcomings of coaches and players. Here's why that's a problem. Let's look at what a warm-up is. A warm-up is something to prepare you for the game, right? Essentially just physically to prepare you for a game. Yes, warm-ups are important, and yes, warm-ups are a tool that needs to be used. And as a strength and conditioning coach who has warmed up so many flipping teams, it's honestly like probably the majority of like a coach's thing. Like a head coach is always just telling the strength and conditioning coach, warm them up, warm them up. And honestly, through these years of training, I've noticed 2 very annoying things from players and coaches. And one thing is, number 1, coaches love to blame a team's performance on a poor quality warm-up. Either being players not focusing in the warm-up or the warm-up itself not being up to standard. And they like to use this as a cop-out. I call it a cop-out because they can't face the shortcomings of their own coaching, and therefore they need some type of thing to place the blame on, so they choose the 15-minute preparing thing for you for the activity as the reason for poor performance. Not poor coaching, not a lack of development that they did with their athletes. No, it's the 15 minutes of activity you did before the warm-up that was not up to standard. So let's get this clear. That 15-minute warm-up that you do, it cannot make you a better player. It could make you more prepared, and yes, if it's done correctly, it could get you focused and ready for the game. However, it cannot make you a better player. It cannot fundamentally change the condition that you are in. It could maybe help you focus a bit more, and maybe it can get you ready. But how you show up to that pitch is a product of what you've been doing for the past 6 to 12 months prior to that. That 15-minute warm-up cannot save you, and coaches love to use this as like, I don't know if you're watching this, maybe a rugby player, it's really common in rugby, I don't know if it's the same in other things, but as soon as a warm-up goes bad, as soon as someone drops a ball in the warm-up, as soon as someone isn't shouting out at the top of their lungs, woo, you know, that type of thing, in a warm-up, then all of a sudden, coaches are always like, guys, I don't know what's wrong with us, I don't think we're switched on, why aren't we? The warm-up didn't look great. Are we just not going to perform today? And they already have this defeatist mentality of like, if a warm-up doesn't go well, then yeah, we're not going to play well. Which is the weirdest thing ever. It's the weirdest belief that you can instill in your players or in yourself. Because honestly, when it does go well after a bad warm-up, you say nothing. But when the coaches have a bad warm-up and then play bad, then all of a sudden it's a big problem. But it's also never a problem if you have a good warm-up and you play shitty. Then it's also never mentioned. Warm-ups are never mentioned. So honestly, if you're a coach watching this, if you're a player watching this, do not buy into the belief that the warm-up has so much to do. If you have a bad warm-up, the worst thing you can do is believe that it will have a massive effect on your game. Athletes, if you're watching this, if you have a bad warm-up, I'm going to say it again, if you have a bad warm-up, the worst thing you can do is believe your coach telling you that that is going to affect your game immensely, because it's not going to. Rather think what I've been doing the 6 to 12 months to prepare myself for this game is what's going to affect how this game turns out. That is a better belief. And that will help you to get confidence if you've actually worked hard consistently for the last, half year to a year. If you've worked hard consistently, a bad warm-up should not stress you out at all. Mentally, it should not be a thing. But still, as we instill this belief into athletes, we create fragile athletes who depend on good warm-ups, something so superficial, and that in turn negatively impacts their performance. That's the first part. Coaches believe that. And here comes the second one. Players, if you're watching this, if this is you, stop doing this. This is very annoying. I've been a player coach for very long. I've done it when I was overseas. I've done it now a few times at my current club. I hate warming up the players if I'm playing with them, because obviously they don't take me seriously. But I know this for a fact. When players show up to preseason or in season and they are conditioned as shit, they are fat or they can't even run 200 meters, they have no sprinting in their past year or 2 years, they get injured, they pull a hammy, they pull a calf, they do something, they look right and hurt their neck. All these unconditioned players have one thing in common: they blame the warm-up for their injuries, which is crazy to me, because let's just quickly think about what you're doing. You're blaming 15 minutes of a bit of activity, a few leg swings, a few low intensity shuttles, and a bit of that. You're blaming that for not making up for you not doing anything for a year. That's what you're doing. You're saying the reason for you pulling your hammy while sprinting for the first time in a year is because you didn't warm up properly 15 minutes before the time. That is what you're saying. Let me just get that right. Doesn't sound like a cop-out at all. It's not you that didn't sprint for a full year or run anything above 200 meters. It's not that. It's the 15 minutes. You didn't do a calf stretch long enough. Honestly, a warm-up is such a small part of whether or not you're actually going to get injured. So many people believe that a warm-up is the main reason whether or not you get injured or don't get injured. No, it's not. It's absolutely not. If you are prepared and you've been doing an activity for very long, take a well-conditioned athlete right now, take a super conditioned athlete, and let's say sprinting. If I tell him to go and sprint now without a decent warm-up, I'll bet money on the fact that he probably won't hurt his hamstring as easy as the person who hasn't sprinted in a year but does a 20-minute warm-up and then goes for a sprint. He will definitely, the guy who does a 20-minute or 30-minute warm-up even, let's go 40-minute warm-up even, he does the most diligent warm-up known to man, the best warm-up. It covers all bases, but he hasn't sprinted in a year. Let him go sprint 100 meters. I'll take the guy who's been sprinting the entire year with no warm-up. He will not hurt his hammy. The guy who hasn't, he will hurt his hammy, probably. The likelihood of him hurting his hammy is way bigger. Why? Because it's not the warm-up. It's you that's doing nothing. Alright, so athletes, maybe I'm getting a little pissed on this because it's a touchy subject, but I love it because now I can speak without rambling because there's passion behind this subject. But honestly, stop using this cop-out. Go and work hard, get conditioned, get prepared, and you never have to have that fragile mentality again or that you need a warm-up, otherwise you will get injured. Don't use that cop-out. Coaches, if you're listening to this, don't use that cop-out. And athletes, if you want to get prepared, if that's something you actually want to do, then go ahead, click the link in my bio, go get an actual training program and prepare yourself for the next season of sport that is coming. Promise you it will be the best decision that you ever make, because you actually will thrive in your performance and you won't have that fragile mentality. Coaches, if you're watching this, I think take a bit more time to reflect on your own coaching style. Get better at that. Get better at actually developing your athletes and not just doing drills and being a playbook coach. A playbook coach is someone who just looks at a whiteboard and gets moving pieces and playing chess. You're not a chess player. You're developing athletes as well. You're developing players in a certain sport. Make sure you do that job before you blame a warm-up ever again. Thank you for watching.
Yes.